Senator the Honourable Scott Ryan, Australia's G20 Sherpa Dr Heather Smith, members of the Diplomatic Corps, special guests, delegates and friends of the Y20. Welcome to the closing ceremony of this year's Youth 20 Summit. As we reach the end of our summit, it's time to reflect on what's happened here and to celebrate our achievements. 3 days ago, we convened here in Sydney as representatives of G20 states and observer nations with a common interest in the issues affecting youth. We leave here today as friends with a common advocacy platform, an agenda to implement change in our home countries, and a network to rely on. We set ourselves an ambitious task to find solutions to the high rates of youth unemployment in G20 nations and ways for youth to create opportunities for themselves and for others. These recommendations will be carried to the leaders of G20 countries ahead of the leaders' meeting in Brisbane this November. We know that more can be done to ensure our countrymen and countrywomen share the enormous benefits of economic growth and job creation, increased mobility and global citizenship, and sustainable development. We've heard from an array of international speakers who lent us their expertise and contributed to policy discussions on our 3 themes. We've participated in policy committees that sought to find a common understanding of the solutions our generation so desperately needs. More and better jobs, more opportunities to gain the skills necessary for work and then use them around the globe to create opportunities and enhance well-being for others. And sustainable development that addresses the economic, social and environmental well-being of developed and developing countries. We convened as a whole late into the night to hear the results of those committee discussions, to make improvements and adopt our communiqué. In a moment, we'll hear from representatives of the Troika country delegations, Russia, Australia and Turkey, on the outcomes of our Y20 communiqué. I'm pleased that we have achieved our goal of a concise 3-page communiqué focused on practical recommendations relevant to the G20's agenda. I'm especially pleased with the way delegates have worked together. Delegates broke down barriers and sought partnerships and common ground with one another, regardless of their country of origin. I said we'd set ourselves an ambitious goal, making relevant policy recommendations to some of the most important world leaders on the world's most pressing challenges. You might ask yourselves, who are we to take on such a project? Some of our speakers spoke to youth being the future inheritors of current economic, social and environmental challenges. Some spoke to our potential as future leaders. Both these things are true. But I look around this room and I think of some of the delegates I've been fortunate to meet over the last several days. I've met someone who works in rural communities to implement programs to get young people into work. Someone working to design planes that are going to be faster than rocket ships. Someone researching the environmental impacts of tequila farming. People finding ways to sustain agriculture and improve outcomes for poor people now and into the future. Farmers, economists, people who work in politics, representatives of armies and police forces, medical doctors setting health policy. I have no doubt that many in this room will go on to be great leaders. But I know that many in this room are participating now, leading now, inventing now, challenging now, employing now, and creating now. We work across multiple sectors and represent a variety of interests. This is a diverse group, and we bring a unique diversity of experience and expertise to G20 engagement. When the Y20 Planning Group first approached this year's summit, one of our goals was a practical program that sets up a continued advocacy agenda. Holly will be speaking to that shortly. Tomorrow, we will present the Y20 communique on behalf of all delegates to the Australian Treasurer, the Honourable Joe Hockey. It goes without saying that this has been an enriching experience for all of us.